When Blade Runner came out in 1982, it left fans speechless, but it also left them with a ton of unanswered questions. 35 years later, some of those questions have finally been answered thanks to Blade Runner 2049. That's the good news. The bad news? Blade Runner 2049 has left us with even more mysteries than before. Here's a spoiler-filled look at the biggest unanswered questions in Blade Runner 2049.
What do you want?
I want to ask you some questions.
So, is Deckard a replicant? Perhaps the biggest question from the original Blade Runner is whether or not Harrison Ford's character, the replicant hunter Deckard, is himself a replicant. Though the film suggested that he was, it was intentionally left ambiguous. Blade Runner 2049 takes that ambiguity and uses it to totally troll the audience, with Jared Leto's replicant magnate Wallace delivering a whole monologue about whether or not Deckard is a replicant, without actually answering the question. This is one mystery it looks like we'll never learn the answer to. Did Kay die? At the end of the film, Kay lays down in the snow to die in a beautiful scene clearly meant as a callback to the death of Rutger Hauer's replicant leader Roy Batty in the original Blade Runner. There's one key difference, however. We see Roy die on camera, while Kay's fate is left poetically and lyrically up in the air. Sure, he probably dies, but the Blade Runner films love leaving things open to interpretation, and Kay's death scene is just another prime example. What's the deal with Joy? One of the most enigmatic characters in the movie is Joy, Kay's computerized virtual girlfriend. It's unclear whether she's a true AI or just a sophisticated program designed to emulate human emotions. Does she really love Kay, or is she just programmed to pretend? Knowing the truth may answer the other big question about Joy. How and why did she end up bringing in Mariette for that super weird love scene? It seems beyond coincidence that Joy happens to contact the one replicant specifically tasked with spying on Kay. If Joy truly loves Kay, then the explanation she gives about wanting to experience physical romance with Kay may be true. But if she's just a program, you have to wonder who programmed her to help the replicant rebellion. Could she have been hacked by them? There's more to Joy than meets the eye, but exactly what is anyone's guess. Who put Anna's memories in Kay? The entire plot hinges on the fact that Kay has memories leading him to believe he's actually Deckard's son. However, it turns out that while they're real memories, they actually belong to Deckard's daughter, Dr. Anna Stellan, who specializes in creating false memories for replicants. Considering she tells Kay that putting real memories into replicants is illegal, it begs the question of why her memories were recorded in the first place, not to mention how her memories happened to end up in the exact replicant tasked with tracking her down. Perhaps if we knew how Kay ended up on this case in the first place, we'd have a better idea. But when the film opens, Kay is already tracking down the replicant farmer, Sapper Morton, who holds the key to the mystery. Who told Kay about Sapper and why? Coincidence or part of a larger plot? The more questions you ask about it, the more new questions it creates. Did Anna know Deckard was her father? So about those memories Anna has. She tells Kay that her parents were ready to go off-world and put her in this bubble when she got sick at the age of 8 to protect her from the crappy world outside. That's clearly a lie, though, because she has memories which have been implanted in Kay about her time living in the orphanage. So what does she really remember, and what does she really know about herself? The replicant rebel leader Freyza, played by Hiam Abbas, tells Kay she has Deckard's daughter safely hidden away. If she's telling the truth, it implies Anna knows about the rebellion and her own replicant parentage and is in on the whole thing. But is Freyza telling the truth? Did Anna know Deckard and Rachel were her parents? If the movie had gone on for another 10 seconds, we would have gotten the answer, but since it didn't, we'll have to settle for just guessing. What happens next? At the end of the movie, humanity seems trapped between two different replicant factions. On one hand, Wallace wants to build replicants who can reproduce, allowing them to spread across the galaxy. On the other hand, the band of rebels responsible for hiding Deckard's daughter want to rise up and overthrow their masters. If either of these factions prevail, humanity has some pretty nasty times ahead regardless. But what does happen? Wallace is still alive with all the resources of the solar system at his disposal, the rebels are off somewhere making new eye patches for their leader, and the whole powder keg seems about to blow when the film cuts to black. Looks like we'll have to wait for Blade Runner 2079 to find out. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.